Hello, I'm Jimmy Bryant, Director of the Division of Arkansas Heritage, part of the Department of Arkansas Parks, Heritage and Tourism. For more than 30 years, Small Works on Paper, our traveling exhibit, has showcased and collected the exemplary talent of Arkansas artists. Our program is part of Arkansas Heritage's overall mission to identify and enhance our state's quality of life through the discovery, preservation, and presentation of significant experiences, natural resources, history, and identity. The 2021 Small Works on Paper truly captures this moment in time and reflects our experiences through the eyes of visual artists. I want to congratulate all of this year's artists and to thank them for being part of Arkansas's creative economy and placemaking. Artists are a vital part of Arkansas's culture and identity. Thank you for what you do. It really matters.
Hello, I'm Patrick Ralston, Director of the Arkansas Arts Council, and welcome to our first virtual opening reception for Small Works on Paper, our touring visual art exhibition. The 2021 exhibition, which consists of 38 framed pieces, is on display in the gallery at East Arkansas Community College in Forrest City, Arkansas. You're invited to stop by if you'd like to see it in person, although the gallery is limited to 10 people or less for your safety. You can also see the touring schedule if you go to our website, arkansasarts.org. This year marks the 34th year that we have hosted Small Works on Paper at the Arkansas Arts Council, and it has become a signature event for our agency. Our program is an important part of recognizing, rewarding, and preserving the talent of Arkansas artists. The exhibition gives an opportunity for both established artists and emerging artists to show and sell their work. And it gives an opportunity to visitors on all stops on the tour to visit and see the works in person. Because the artist talks are always the favorite part of our opening reception for Small Works on Paper, we're doing it again today. We're going to have the 5 artists whose works were selected as purchase awards by our 2021 juror. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for supporting Arkansas art.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaywood, retired professor from UALR, taught photography there for many years and at other institutions before that. But even though I'm retired, I'm still very active in making photographs, and this is the work that got the purchase award. It's from a series that I call Black Box, meaning that photographs that are somehow mysterious, or they're of course photographs of something in the real world, but suggest something maybe beyond that, some kind of enigma. And I started working on that series in the summer of 2019, and then that was exhibited at the Focus Gallery at ULR last winter, and I continued working on that, but I put that aside for a while. And if is some of this visible in the back, is a new series of landscapes that I'm working on now that I've worked on since, I guess, the late spring and summer of this year. So I got my first camera, my first 35mm camera in 1968, and I took my first photography class in 1970, and so I've been at this for over half a century. You collect a lot of work in a half century, but it's been very satisfying, and made a really good choice. When I started taking photography classes, I had just graduated from Auburn as in the School of Architecture. My undergraduate degree was in architecture, and people have pointed out that there is some carryover there. It's been 5 years of my life doing that. What I like about photography is I get out in the world and explore. It's kind of like being a little kid again, you know. It's like you get on your bicycle and you go all over the neighborhood, and then you go beyond the neighborhood when you're not supposed to, and you get punished for that and so forth. But you want to explore what's that. You want to explore the world that's out there. And of course, now as an adult, I can get in the car and go wherever I want to and explore photographically now. Aaron Siskin's a great photographer of the 20th century. And he was talking about Ansel Adams' idea that you pre-visualize, you know exactly what's going to happen. And he said if you know exactly what the result's going to be, there's no point in even doing it. You know, it's a process of discovery. And then of course that's in all the arts. The one that got the Purchase Prize, which is titled Composition with Raindrops. It's actually, these of course I go to different sites, but this is just in the backyard. I set things up. And this I have a kind of a plastic contraption with bars and so forth. And it was, you know, it wasn't raining at the moment, but it had rained obviously. And set up. These are some elements that I had worked with before, and where you have the clarity here and something similar, but becomes vague in the distance. So it's mysterious. It's black box. It's, you know, I don't think there's a day goes by where I don't spend a good deal of time thinking about photography or what I'm going to do or how I'm going to I'm going to set things up or where I'm going to go to take the more landscape pictures.
Hello, my name is Susan Chambers and I'm a painter. I live in Little Rock, Arkansas. And first of all, I'd like to thank the Arkansas Arts Council for sponsoring the Small Works on Paper. The Purchase Award piece is entitled Coreopsis and Coxcomb. So Coreopsis is a native plant that grows in my garden, and coxcomb are those, they kind of call them brain flowers, kind of a dark red, and that's naturalized in the garden. So I really like the juxtaposition of the bright orange with the red color of the coxcomb. A year ago in April, when I'd been in isolation for a month, I was kind of down, and I was looking through my iPad photos, and I saw some photographs I'd taken of my garden in the summer, the height of the summer, and took a couple of those photographs of the Coreopsis and coxcomb, and then I had some drawings of the Coreopsis, so I put them together. To me, the most important thing about this piece is the color interaction. So with the light bright orange, which pushes forward, and also the cool dark coxcomb, I was juggling that, but also I put a very kind of dull, dark cobalt green in the background. So you get a lot of push and pull, especially with the orange flowers towards the middle. I also like the chaos of the Coreopsis, which kind of arcs around everywhere, and then you have the coxcomb, which kind of marches across the painting there. So really the inspiration was the color combinations of the two and the structure of the two plants, and the fact that Coreopsis is a native plant and the coxcomb just comes up every year. So it's a survivor. And I am kind of what some people would call a maximalist as opposed to a minimalist. I put in a lot of pattern, a lot of color. At the beginning, probably an interest in Japanese art, and then the post-impressionists, the way they flatten the space. So I do try, like the Purchase Award, that's an extremely flat space. It's just the flowers and then the dull, cool green background. So you get the emphasis on the negative space that way. And, you know, it just makes it, I like the abstract quality of the negative space and the flattening that goes on. You know, I might be looking out at trees right now out my window, and I'm looking at the sky more than the tree branches. For some reason, when I look at scenes or walking around in the woods, I'm looking at compositions and that the negative space as much as the positive space. I mean, I was, you know, one of the kids that played outside all the time and dug in the dirt and played in the woods, and which a lot of kids don't get now, which I think is real important for artists' childhood. Oh, and then also after paint that class when I was 12, I took, you know, I grew up in the Little Rock School District. I took the art classes, and then I got my BA at Rhodes and my MFA at the University of Georgia in painting. And worked for the Arts Council, worked as an adjunct at UALR, UCA, and the Little Rock School District. Well, I think one thing, when I came back from graduate school, I really wanted to do art that was an Arkansas experience. And so I deal with what I consider iconography of Arkansas in terms of shapes and objects that everybody would recognize and understand. So I wanted it to be rooted in what we see around us in the state. It was interesting. I started out doing a lot of paintings of yard art, which was kind of fun. A lot of those gardens have disappeared. It was just a way to explore what was around me in Arkansas. I believe that color can make people feel better. It can enlighten people, lift your mood, or bring it down, depends. It gives a certain energy. I think there's a lot of energy in this piece that is in the small works on paper, and that's mainly through the color. So I'm kind of chromophilia, love of color is very, very important. And it's got to be bright color. So what I like in this painting, I'm using matte acrylics, so you don't get any shine off of the canvas or anything. You get that, to get the saturation of the color, I'll put at least 3 coats on so that it's totally, totally saturated. But yeah, color to me is like sunshine on a winter day.
Hi, my name is Kemara Johnson. The inspiration behind my artwork involves culture, family upbringing, texture, and fashion. The process of Ruby's Reprise included collecting and assorting mosaic gems on the flowing gown representing love, health, and wisdom, much like music to one's ears. The process of creating suye aesthetics involved cutting and arranging fabric that was passed down from my family in the shape of a shoe with a creased bright orange background representing unity, feminism, and walking towards success. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Lynn Reinbold. I'm a photographer, and I'm honored that this year the Small Works on Paper chose my work, Old House in the Fog. I enjoy shooting in the fog in the early morning when it's dark. The environment is almost memorizing, and sometimes it's even a little bit spooky. And when I came upon the scene in this year's photograph, I could stand there and look through the house and see the tree in the old house. As I did that, It was as if the walls in the house were talking to me. The stories of the people that had lived there, been born there, had even died there. It was their stories, and the house was his library. When you go out to shoot, you're always looking for something that might make a great image. And I saw this, and it was just, I had driven by this place probably 100 times and never thought about taking a picture. But that morning in the fog, and as it was dark, it was just jumped out at me and said, there it is. And that's how I stopped and I set up and spent almost a half an hour there taking these pictures. When I was a child, my mother gave me a book by Ansel Adams that was signed by Ansel Adams, and in hope that it would be something that kept me busy. And I started learning about photography, and I've been interested in it ever since. So that's almost 55 years now. I would always go hiking, and the kids would say, Dad, where can we go hiking with you? And they suggested I start taking pictures again of the places that I go to, and they would look at the pictures and say, that's cool, or that's cool. So that's how I got back into photography. And then from there, it became from taking pictures to show the kids to taking pictures for the sake of pictures. And then as the work grew, people started commenting that, your photography is pretty good. And I'd laugh at them, because most people just say that to make you feel good. And I ran across a small works on paper exhibition that was at Harding. I went to it and looked at it, and I said, maybe my work is good enough. And I entered it, and my work was chosen, and I've been in several other exhibitions since then. Not because I take pictures to be in exhibitions, but it's a confirmation that you're on the right path and you're doing something that measures up equally to the best of the best. It's trial and error. You'll go out and, for instance, any of these photographs here that are on the wall, I probably took 1,000 shots to get the one shot that I liked. Many times you'll go out and you'll shoot for weeks and weeks and just won't get the shot that you're looking for. And then sometimes you go out one day and all of a sudden, boom, you get 10 shots. A lot of it's got to do with the weather and the atmosphere and what's going on with the light. Because what you're really doing is taking pictures of light, and the light as it reflects off the subject. So depending on what time of day, what time of year, it can make a big difference in what you're shooting, and do you get that image. So what I really love about living in Arkansas is just a varied type of subject matter that you can get, from the bayous to the hip mountains and the hollows. You just got to grab the moment. It's like in everything else in life. You just got to grab the moment, live the day, and when you see a picture, have your camera ready and shoot. So most pictures you take, it's just being in the right place at the right time. The only advice I would give is try. A lot of times, there's been many years when I really thought I had a good image, and I submitted it, and they didn't accept it. In other years where you submit an image that, that's not so good, and they do accept it. It depends on the judge, and you can't be dismayed or turned away simply because you get a rejection. Everybody who does art gets rejected, and it's a matter of having the persistence to keep trying.
Hi, my name is Kendall Schultz, and I am an artist in Bentonville, and I am thrilled to be a part of the Arkansas Arts Council's Small Works on Paper exhibit this year. My two pieces are small mixed media collages. They're titled Use What You Have, numbers 4 and 10. I did a series of 10 of these, kind of based off of a waste not, want not idea. I work mostly in acrylic paints on canvas, lots of lines, lots of layers, very, very, very heavy on the lines. But I also love to sew, so every now and then I'll deconstruct one of my paintings and use those canvas scraps to combine them with little remnants of suede, leather, whatever I can get my hands on, and sew them onto a piece of heavyweight paper. I'm very much inspired by quilts, Native American trade blankets, the patterns, the colors in those. I started pursuing art as a hobby while working as an accountant in Chicago many years ago. But I'm very happy these days to be spending more time on my art. And like I said, I'm just thrilled to be a part of this show.
Hi, welcome to the EACC Fine Arts Center Art Gallery. Come on in. Hi, I'm Nikki Jones, Director of Development, Art Center Manager here at East Arkansas Community College in Forrest City. We are very pleased to be the first gallery to host the 34th Annual Small Works on Paper exhibit. This exhibit is presented by the Arkansas Arts Council and the Arkansas Department of Heritage. Our virtual tour will take you around the gallery where you'll get to see each unique piece of artwork. The art gallery is open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and of course there's never a fee. We'd love to have you come visit us here at the art gallery in the Fine Arts Center at EACC located on beautiful Crowley's Ridge. Enjoy the tour.
you.